guys, welcome to Lovecast, the BL podcast reviews. Yay! I haven't done this ever. No. This month we're talking about a Korean BL that was and continues to be all over our socials. The Time of Fever is the name. And with me today is my fellow hosts, Kayla and Heather.
Hi.
Hi.
I almost said Alexa, but Alexa is not here today.
No. It's her birthday weekend.
It's her birthday, and we miss
Happy birthday,
her.
Alexa, again. Watch our Japanese thing to see our big happy birthday to you. Woo.
And honestly, it's a little bit sad to not have her here because I know she enjoyed this. This was right up her alley. Okay, but a series synopsis. Hotae and Dong-hee have grown up like brothers since childhood. A few years ago, Hotae, who had moved to Seoul, returned to Gangneung after his father's funeral. Meanwhile, Dong-hee, who had come out and was kicked out of his home, began living alone in Hotae's empty house. Reuniting after a long time, the two start living together under one roof. Despite their close brotherly bond, Dong-hee can't help but feel excited seeing Hotae, his first love, again. Dong-hee tries to suppress his feelings, but it's not easy. Meeting Dong-hee after a long time, Hotae also starts experiencing emotions he has never felt before. In an effort to escape his confusing feelings, Hotae starts dating girls recklessly. Witnessing Hotae like this hurts Dong-hee, and after an unexpected incident, the delicate relationship between the two starts to gradually shift. So, this is a prequel to Unintentional Love Story, to give Hotae and Dong-hee's characters a bit more backstory. And if you want to know our thoughts about Unintentional Love Story, you can check out our review on that. I also recommend actually watching the show for context. Yes. So it's a 6-episode long show, 20 minutes each, and available on iQIYI for some people. Not me. Some people can watch it on iQIYI. Not me. Not because I'm stingy with my money and don't have an iQIYI subscription, but because it's just not available in Norway on iQIYI. Thank you.
Is it just Norway or is it like Europe?
I don't know. I have no idea. I just know that I went in, searched for it, can't find it. And that happens a lot, honestly. So I'm not gonna say I watched this illegally, but maybe.
Let's just say that I haven't been paying for any subscription service, but I've still been watching shows. So I understand.
Well, I watched it on iQIYI with the subscription that I pay for. So
I know Alexa watched it with her subscription as well because she has one because I borrowed hers a couple of times. But the problem is that if her iQIYI subscription discovers that I'm watching from Norway, they start getting a little bit mad. So, yeah. That sucked. Like, I will say, like, having to go to channels where you get, like, an exuberant amount of commercials and bad quality is annoying. And
we don't like to promote watching it through non-official channels.
Yeah.
But when the release of these shows aren't as international as they would like to think that they are, that's when it starts to get a bit frustrating.
I would like, if only like if they gave me the ability to just buy the episode somewhere or just something, I would do that. But I searched the whole internet. Like, I am a good Googler, okay? I can find anything on Google. Could not find any legal way to watch this show.
Yeah.
So I had to
the
do it.
licensing let you down there.
I had to like sometimes when shows are locked away from me, I just don't bother. But I knew we were gonna do this review, and I also liked Unintentional Love Story, and I really liked these characters, and I really wanted to see that backstory. So,
how did you watch Unintentional Love Story?
That one was available for me. I can't remember on which platform.
That is so strange. That is so strange that Unintentional Love Story was available for you, but The Time of Fever was not.
Yeah, right?
Really strange. But yeah,
it doesn't say. It just says iQIYI on, but I'm 100% sure that I watched it on.
Or maybe
a legal
you did watch it on
place.
Maybe you watched it on iQIYI, but like licensing.
But it was open for me there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be
so strange. I know that one of the reasons this was on our list for the patrons to vote was I remember seeing it all over my Twitter, and I was like, oh, okay, this seems like something quick and easy to watch. And then I watched it and I was like, holy shit, this is better than I thought it was. And I was like, Alexa, it needs to be on the list.
Yeah, I honestly, I expected, I didn't watch this for the longest time because I expected it to be like one of those weirdly named Korean pills that we've gotten, like in the last, like the liquid one and all the weird ones. You know what I'm saying with the liquid one? Isn't it called liquid something? I don't know. It's yellow. It's yellow. The picture with the promotional picture is yellow. It's very, very aggressively yellow.
On Viki?
I can't remember where it is. Korean BL.
Huh.
Liquid.
Intriguing.
I feel like it has something with liquid. Because it's about drinking. Like, they drink a lot.
Oh, is it the liquor one?
It might be liquor. It might be liquor.
Yeah, okay.
Liquor.
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
I just remember it's aggressively yellow.
I love that you remember the poster.
Dude.
But yeah.
Yellow is a very in-your-face color. You'll remember yellow. Yeah. Okay, anyways.
I was going to say, I've got to bring it back to the Time of Fever.
I actually didn't see anything about this show before I watched it. I think it's because like I mostly follow like official accounts.
Yeah.
Like I don't follow a lot of like actual people unless they're my friends.
But it was the same with Unintentional Love Story. It was the same with that one. You saw nothing of it until like, yeah.
Did what? Even on like so you know how you've got following and For You, and then For You just gives you random shit. Not even on that.
I don't use the For You unless I'm like I don't use the For You unless I can't remember that this is really niche. I only use the For You page if I can't remember the name of certain Xenonu fan sites because I know that they'll pop up in my thing because I was liking all the things from an event.
Yeah, fair.
Of course.
Fair.
That's the only time I use
so
it.
Kayla. That is so Kayla.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I didn't see anything because I went through like the stages of grief. Like I went through every single emotion possible. I don't know if it's because I am on my menstrual cycle, but I was upset. I was really upset, and it's just like I felt everything so strongly in the show. And I don't know if that was just me personally in that moment or like the show is that intense.
It is. I think it is.
one of the most interesting things to me, like, we watched Unintentional Love Story. We know where their story is at in
I
that
don't.
show.
I
Well,
don't.
okay.
I never watched
Other
it.
people know. but but even though I knew that, watching this backstory, even though I know where it sort of ends, it was so engaging. Like, I and the like pining and the
Holy shit.
desperation. I
The
felt it
yearning.
to my core.
Dude.
The yearning.
Dude.
My favorite thing. It was like, I swear to God, and I'm not like on my menstrual cycle at all. I swear to God, like it was like turned up to 1,000. I was like feeling all the feels. I was crying. I
I
was
was
feeling
blushing.
things. I was just like, holy shit. What is
Mhm.
going on with these two characters and this story, which is like, what, like just over an hour long, like an hour and a half ish
Yeah.
long. It was intense.
Intense.
Like, it actually legitimately was intense. And it wasn't intense in the
100%.
sense that, like, all these crazy things happened.
It was an
No, it was
action. Like, it's not
intense.
action.
It was
Mm-hmm.
intense with the relationship between these
Their
two
tension.
characters.
Mm.
Oh,
Oh.
holy
Dude.
crap. Holy
Like,
crap.
I don't know if this is like skipping ahead, but the scene with the tangerines. I have
Episode
so much to
3.
say about it. I have so much to say
Share.
because just the symbolism of like them eating fruit,
Oh
like
my
forbidden
god.
fruit, and then
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
hunger as in eating, but hunger also
Mm.
as in desire
Mm.
was like, it was just so well done.
Yeah.
And the way they did sound in this
Mm.
was, so every time you had like these tense moments between them, like the music would fall away or it would get very quiet and all you could hear was them. So their
Mm.
breathing,
Mm-hmm.
their sounds, if they were kissing, their kissing sounds, like it was a lot. And it was done so
Oof.
well.
I can feel like my emotions like going crazy just talking about this because I was
Literally.
so intense. And I I find it so fascinating that you like, except Heather, we knew where they were in their relationship when we started watching this. And it's just, I couldn't imagine what
Mm-mm.
we actually got to see here. Like, I couldn't
Mm.
have known that that was their backstory. Like, and it makes completely sense. Like, compared to what their relationship in Unintentional Love Story is. Like, it makes sense that this is their backstory. And it lends so much to their story and Unintentional Love Story, that they had like this. And I think they did the whole brother, pseudo brother thing really well, because it can balance on a gray line.
Yeah, I
And
think because I was gonna say with that, because I don't know anything about Unintentional Love Story, but I think
Mhm,
in here, it really, they really kind of reinforced the childhood friends
mhm,
Mm-hmm.
aspect of their relationship more than like like a pseudo brother type of
mhm,
relationship, because like the use of Hyung in, there's like a lot of nuance with the
mhm.
use of Hyung in in Korea, and
Yeah,
I do feel like sometimes with some of the shows it's glossed over. It's not really
yeah.
used in like sometimes you get real, like they utilize it in like with the context and everything
Mhm.
really well for the story, and
Yep.
sometimes it's not. And I think in this it was used
Mhm.
so well, as like
Uh-huh.
when he would just refused to call him Hyung, like Hyung
And
at
shit.
all,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Oh,
he did.
Mm-hmm.
Like the
oh,
was it the first time he called him Hyung again was when he literally, or no, when he, sorry, when he was like, no, call me Hyung and I will teach you to kiss, and he says it straight away, and I was like, Oh boy, no, I can't. This is like, what is going on? It's
I
just,
could
yeah.
rewatch this show so much.
Same.
Same. And like, it really has made me want to watch Unintentional Love Story, even though I know that they're not the main character, they're the main couple. Sorry, I do. Yeah, it has made me really want to watch it. One thing though that did kind of not annoy me per se, but when I watched it, I was like, I'm gonna have to ask the others because they've seen Unintentional Love Story. So, how did you feel about the pacing of the last episode? Because I thought it was very rushed for how the pacing of the 5 episodes before it felt. Specifically with some of the decisions that were made by the characters. So like, yeah, so for example, just the decision for him to go to Seoul instead of staying in where are they? Gangneung. Instead of staying there, they like, so that decision felt very rushed, and then just like all of a sudden going up to Seoul to study felt very rushed, and his goodbyes felt very rushed, and just there was a lot of that felt like it was time to wrap this up and move into Unintentional Love Story. So I was like, ooh, it feels like there just something else needed to happen.
I think because in an Unintentional Love Story, not to spoil too much, but it is very like trying to distance himself. That it just felt like this was the point where he's just like, okay, I need to distance myself. Like I can't do this anymore. So it plays really well into Unintentional Love Story for me. I think when you have the foreknowledge of that it's just it makes sense for him because he's so aggressive about it. It's unintentional. I don't know if aggressive is the right word, but but yeah.
Yeah. I think also because like right at the end we see him come back to the hometown and then they see each other again and there's a hopeful smile on their faces. Like it just felt, at least like in the story of just the time of fever, it felt that they rushed him leaving to Seoul and then coming back very bloody quickly.
Yeah, I do think that this show was meant to be like you need to watch Unintentional Love Story first. Like it's not meant to like be there and to be watched.
It's not meant to be an actual prequel.
No, you need to have the context of an Unintentional Love Story to kind of, at least for the ending part of it, to make sense. And I think like him coming back and everything, like it's sort of a little bit fan servicey for the people that watch
to fix something that happened in Unintentional Love Story.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that they're sort of trying to tie the storylines together and tie together whatever plot holes or yeah.
So probably more of a, it's like a something to watch after, not something to watch before.
Yeah, it's a prequel, but it's a prequel in the sense that it's number 2 in the like watch me. It's a season 2.
So but I was gonna say a prequel would be like you watch it before Unintentional Love Story.
Going back in time. You have to think of it as sort of them remembering their time before Unintentional Love Story. So it's just like them remembering back.
Yeah, I think just like in terms of the time of fever, just as a whole, slightly separate from Unintentional Love Story because I haven't seen it, but we can't completely take it away because it is meant to be like something that goes hand in hand with that series. I think that just for me, it just felt a little rushed.
Yeah,
just
I get that.
the events that happened in that last episode, or at least that last section of the movie, if you watch it as a movie instead. It just felt very rushed to me. So I was like, kind of wish that it had slowed down a little bit, or like a couple other things had happened to explain a little bit more some of the decisions. But that's my only real like major not negative, but like major concern with the show, major I can't think of the word right now, with the series, because everything else about it was great. Like the way it was shot was so well done. Holy crap, lends itself to what we were saying before with like how tense some situations were, or how like intense, how emotional certain things made us feel. Like there were ways that it was shot that was just chef's kiss. Like it was so well done.
It reminds me a lot about I Where Your Eyes Linger.
I could see that.
Like the focusing on
it,
certain.
Yeah, and I do think that the director, if I remember this correctly, the director of this show is the same that worked with Juan the Soul before. So his style is very reminiscent of hers.
Yeah,
I remember
loved
that
how
correctly.
it was filmed.
Yeah.
I really like how they use point of view shots in the show.
Yeah.
So like whenever it's like you're looking at the person, you're in their shoes looking at the other person. I love how they implemented that. And I also love how there were a lot of shots that were like from in between the crack of like a door or a curtain.
Yes.
And it felt like
some of my favorite.
Voyeuristic in a way. Not like in a creepy way, but just like very observant. And I just really liked it.
You in.
I really liked it.
Okay, the screenwriter is the same screenwriter of Where Your Eyes Linger.
Yeah, I was looking at the director and I was like, no.
Yeah, it's
like
not the same director.
Who directed this did The Tasty Florida, Kissable Lips, the director who buys me dinner, Love Tractor, which was really good. I liked it. And The Time of Fever.
Yeah.
So a couple of things, like I feel like that was thinking about those previous shows to this show that this director directed. It's a different style.
It is.
Yeah.
Like it's a slightly different style. So I wonder what inspired him.
And I mean, like the ratings of his shows are like this
show
is vastly better than any of the other ones that is on my drama list. And I get it, but like I think like you can say what you want about the Tasty Florida. I think it was well shot. Like the problem isn't with the filming or the directing. It's more of with the writing.
The story, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the story really
the same with
really
Kissable
good.
Lips, honestly.
Just well done. And like the sound was really good too. I never like I only noticed a couple of things that were just, and it was more because I was like, there's no way the sound is this good in this swimming pool right now. They've definitely gone and done like AR like after the fact. Like they've recorded this after the fact.
Yeah, there's one song they kept playing in the show, and I didn't dislike it, but it reminded me of the music that plays when you're on a carousel. Do you know what I mean? It's like very circusy.
Ooh, yep. No, I do.
But it fit. Funny. It fit to like uplift the mood whenever they were joking around. So it made sense. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Dong Hee as a character. Oh. I love a traumatized character.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that we like visually saw more of his background in The Time of Fever, But
Yeah.
also, I could understand why they wouldn't really go into it, because it's like, okay, we know what happened. We know what he's dealing with.
Yeah.
So maybe it was best for them to not like dwell on it, if that makes
I
sense.
actually I actually
I
kind of
don't know.
really liked the way that they did it, because it felt like we were just kind of we were shown a couple of things and then left to figure it out ourselves, than just being
That's true.
told
Yeah.
and like being like, his dad is abusive, here is all of the ways he is abusive, type of thing. But it's like, it's more starting like, oh, why were him and his mum like living in their house for 2 years, like besides just looking after their house? Why? And then it was like, oh, this house is closer to the school, so he'll just stay here. And it's like, okay, interesting. I wouldn't think it was that bad if he was already going to school beforehand. Like, just little things like that, that's kind of planted. You're like, there is a reason he's not going back to live with his mum, outside of the fact that the house is closer to the school. Like,
Oh.
there's some more stuff there. And then
Yeah.
the fact that you don't even see him really visiting home all that much, except for his birthday, because his mum has said come home. So there's a couple of things there, and we see like one quick sort of scene of how abusive his dad is, and the certain words that were used during that scene as well makes you start to think like, oh, it, is it potentially he's not just being abused because his dad is abusive? Is it also to do with the fact that his dad is homophobic as well? Is that playing into it? And like, that would also explain why Dong-hee doesn't want to like follow through on how he's feeling about Hote, because of all of the other implications, that could have in their like,
Yeah.
with both their families and stuff. Like,
Yeah, and like Dong-hee, I think he associates like being gay with like just trauma. So he
yes,
doesn't want Hote to go through anything that he's gone through, because he
yeah,
doesn't have like any positive experiences, just
yes,
like existing,
Yeah. I
being
feel
yeah,
like
himself.
Hote is his like happy place. So he doesn't want to like ruin that.
Yeah.
yeah.
I forget what I was going to
So
say.
well done.
Oh,
Like, yeah,
there was speaking of like how they kind of like hint to things and then you have to figure it out. I just remembered that there was another part that kind of did that, where it was whenever it was his birthday and he shows up like beat up, and
yeah,
Hote says something like, "Where is he? Blah blah blah, something something," and his mom is like, "Stop causing trouble for me. Don't like do this again," which
yeah,
alludes to the fact that Hote has known this has been going on and is upset about
yeah,
it, which
yeah,
it's really interesting. I feel like I could catch more things if I watched it again.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
I'm 100% watching this again, but I need to find the like I don't want to watch it with commercials and bad quality again. I need to watch it pristine. I need to figure it out because this is worth figuring out.
Oh my god. Do we want to talk about the kisses in a little bit more detail?
The one in the nurse's office was so
That
good.
was, oh my god, Kayla, you do not understand. Like, I think I like that kiss potentially like more than the fruit kiss. Like, the fruit kiss was everything, but that kiss in the nurse's office, holy shit. Holy shit. Just the way that, like, it was like, oh, we've got to hide really quickly. I'm hiding from my ex-girlfriends. Okay. And then it's like he like pulls him to him, and then they're so close, and then like the conversation that happens, like the fact that he literally just randomly is like, have you kissed anyone? Just like straight up, like, okay. And then like he just kind of, you can see the way that Hote just, from blurting that out, then just decides to follow this thought, this feeling down the rabbit hole. And so he keeps just kind of like not pestering or pressuring, but just kind of like little by little adding more to this. It feels like a rock rolling down a hill or something. Like it gains speed.
Yeah, he's
you can
very
actually
spontaneous.
see the way that he was the actor was acting this. You can see the way he was gaining momentum into this to then get to the point where he's like basically like kiss me, show me, kiss me type of thing. Like so well done. And then the kiss itself, actual kisses, holy crap. Tension.
This is why like I rant on tension all the time, but this is such a good example of like tension done to perfection.
Yes. And it was literally the actors creating the tension, the reduction of sound, like music in the scenes, creating the tension, and like upping the breathing sounds and the whispering sounds and like all of that. And then the way that it was shot, like all three things together created like the perfect tension. And I find that sometimes in these shows where they are trying to create tension, something is missing, and it's usually one of those. It's either the acting, the chemistry between the characters, the sound, or the
whoever decided how this scene was gonna be need to hold like a master class for every other company that produces BLs because this was perfect. Like I'm not even kidding. It was so well done, and I was so surprised.
There's something about the floaty curtains, because if you think about Until We Meet Again, which is Thai, you get that same type of feeling, and there's just something about those floaty curtains up against a window, like I don't know what it is.
It's like they're sort of like in their own world. They're like hidden, like they're very flimsy curtains, but they're hidden from the world. They're in their own space. It's like
this
there's
little private space,
so
just us two.
Intimate about it.
Yeah. And then like the way that they were startled when the bell rings was just perfection, because you could see they were not going to stop.
They were lost in their own world. Like, dude.
Yeah.
And reality came crashing down.
Yeah. And then the fruit kiss was just like, when I was saying like he was gaining momentum, asking like Dong Hee to kiss him, like holy crap, he just jumped right into the deep end and was like, we're doing this.
Yeah.
It was that was a really interesting.
Yeah, you have like a very spontaneous and like fuck it personality, and then you have very thoughtful,
restrained, overthinks
everything, the overthinking person. It's very interesting dynamic.
And in that scene, like Kayla was saying, that scene was full of desire, and the way that they showed desire in such a short amount of time too, like it was really well done.
I'm getting chills just talking about this.
Literally. I'm thinking about how there was a heat lamp in the room.
Yes.
So it was like warming the environment that they were in.
Sorry. The other thing that I just thought, we'll come back to this because it'll lead back in. But from what you were saying, what we were saying, before about like certain little things being like kind of shown or hinting at things. Hote mentioning how hot he was after like looking at Dong Hee a couple of times. He did it a few times, and he would always go back to like, oh, it's quite hot, or don't you feel hot? Or like he would do like movements where he felt warm. And it wasn't just the fact that like it was physically hot. Yeah. You literally saw he was looking at Dong Hee and like seeing some things, and then realizing emotions, I'm having a reaction to this.
Bodily reactions, like you can't control yourself. Like the loss of control of someone that is generally always in control, because it's the only way he knows how to deal with his trauma is it's so good.
Oh yeah, when Dong Hee would look at Hote, Yeah, that was so I liked that we actually um the first the first sort of like little glances or little like inklings of where their relationship would like what their relationship would develop into, they were actually from Hote looking at Donghee and noticing Donghee, and then we got Donghee looking at Hote, and we were like, oh, okay, I see what it is. He has liked him um, for a lot longer than Hote has noticed Donghee in that way. And that's when, and I think because of that, you start to get that feeling of like, oh, secret crush, which is my favorite. And then from that, I think the having like the secret crush trope alongside um the spontaneous, like I just kind of follow my feelings person on the other side of that, that works so well together because you have Hote slowly realizing his feelings and then just acting on stuff, and you've got Donghee being like, I have wanted to act on this for a while, but I'm like, I don't know if this is what we should be doing. Like the way that I feel is also kind of tied up with the trauma from my father. Um, I want to let go, but I don't know how much I can let go, and it's just delicious. So delicious.
Yes. Not a kissing scene, but I also love the tension in that scene where they were playing in the rain and then they go under the underpass and he's like wringing his sweater dry.
Don't
It's like
even.
the gestures are so subtle sometimes, but they say so much.
Yeah.
The little step back, the like rigging, and then just the little step back, like, oh, no, no. It's just everything's just done so well in this.
Tension.
Should we rate it?
We should probably
let's
rate it.
Let's do it.
Okay, listen, I'll just do mine first. Because of the how hard it is to watch this show, it's losing half a point. So I'm saying 4.5 out of 5. Like, I don't have any complaints about the actual show. I just yeah.
All right. So I loved it. I loved everything about it. The only thing that drops it a little bit for me is how rushed that last episode felt as I was watching it. I know that it's like it needs to go hand in hand with unintentional love story, but I feel like even if it needs to go hand in hand, it should still feel like a fully complete little story. So because of that, I'm putting it at a 4.7. So it loses like 0.3 just for how rushed that end felt.
I'm a little torn because I also feel like the ending was slightly rushed. But I also thought that maybe they did that on purpose to kind of like show how quickly their lives were changing.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm giving them too much credit or what, but honestly, even keeping that in mind that I felt like it was a little rushed, I seriously think I would give it a 5 out of 5. Like everything was just so intentional. Everything came together so perfectly. Like we said, all the aspects of production, from like the acting, the music, the sound, the way it's filmed, like it is just so good. And of course, there's a lot of symbolism in it, which I love as well. So I'm gonna have to do 5 out of 5. I have to.
Yep.
Nice.
Okay. Well, that's it for this month's review. Be sure to let us know what you thought about the Time of Fever down below in the comments or on our social media. Friendly reminder that all of our reviews, minus this one, because we just really wanted to do it.
We're getting it out real quick.
are voted on by our patrons, and they get access to watch them a month before the general public. So if you're interested in choosing which show we review next, consider joining our Lovecaster Patreon family. It's also a great way to support the podcast. Thanks for catching this month's review, and we'll see you next time. Bye!